name is Kim Long. I'm a retired Presbyterian minister, professor of worship, and editor. I was really pleased to be asked to write the essay on celebrating communion because as my life of faith and my vocational life has evolved through the years, I have become more and more grateful for the way God has given us the word, the gospel, not only through the words of Scripture, but also through these acts that we do together, these sacramental acts, baptism and communion. In the Gospel of John, Jesus teaches people that bread comes from God. He said, it wasn't Moses, though, who gave their ancestors manna in the desert, but God. Sir, the people say, give us this bread always. And Jesus replies, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. That points us to this third aspect of communion, that Jesus feeds us and feeds us with his very own body, his very self. In ways that we can't quite understand, Jesus nourishes us. He gives us bread for the journey of faith. He strengthens us to face the challenges of living life as Christians. In the taste of the wine of gladness, we are prompted to give thanks, even in bleak times. And sometimes when we don't have words left to pray, Christ meets us in this meal. I knew a woman once, a number of years ago, whose husband was undergoing treatment for cancer. It was a terrible time. And she got to the point, she continued to go to church, but she couldn't pray and she couldn't sing. She couldn't hear words of encouragement. She certainly couldn't listen to any sermons. She couldn't profess her faith. And she found that the only thing that she could do, and the one thing that she did do, was to go to the table. She couldn't hear the proclamation of the gospel, but she could taste it. She couldn't speak of hope, but she could inhale the aroma of grace. The Lord's Supper fed her when nothing else could. You know, Scripture is full of stories of God feeding us when we are in dire need. We know about the Israelites. We've already talked about the manna, and don't forget the quail. Elijah, when he's fleeing in the wilderness, exhausted, finally lies down to go to sleep. And when he wakes up, there's a warm cake in front of him and water. In Psalm 23, we hear that there is a table prepared for us in the face of our enemies. Paul tells us that the Spirit prays for us with sighs too deep for words. All of these places in Scripture point to ways that God feeds us, strengthens us, upholds us, and sustains us. And the Lord's table is the perhaps primary place where that happens for us today. Have you ever been so hungry that when you smell your favorite food cooking, it almost wants to make you cry? Sometimes coming to the Lord's table is like that. Have you ever gotten up on a spring day, that first, warmth after this cold and maybe lonely winter, and felt a relief and a joy? Sometimes coming to the table is like that. In this simple meal of bread and wine, we are fed in ways we can't understand or explain. Through eating and drinking, we remember that we are not alone, that we are in fact baptized into a community. And we give thanks with the psalmist who said, taste and see that the Lord is good.